Hey, control the trade here. Looking at what I would call a former fan favorite. It's gone out of favor lately, which is IRobot, IRBT. And this one to me is really interesting. I think it presents an incredible opportunity, potential short squeeze like you wouldn't believe. I think the last time I checked, the short float on this was around 40%. 40% of the shares are being shorted. So if there's any, even like a tiny little bit of good news, or the market receives it as good news, you're going to see some crazy short covering and a short squeeze. So what would have normally been just a small, normal garden variety move up could turn into a massive move up. Now, it's definitely a great risk reward play here. Just you have to know when you're wrong. And my chart is pretty crazy looking. All these lines. This is all impromptu. I have not prepped for this video. Just to be clear, this is on my iPhone, screen capture. I want to get some videos out there so those that are trading these stocks can see what I find to be high probability areas of support and resistance, and maybe give you a little bit different idea of um, how I learned to trade and what works for me and what I've seen proven over and over again through my own trading and through what I've learned at MyStrategicForecast.com. Definitely head over to his YouTube channel, David Frost. It's the best YouTube channel for traders out there, bar none. So let's take a look at this. I probably need to clean this up first. Let me get rid of this Fibonacci retracements because it's just a mess. The prices I have on here are a little old and kind of irrelevant right now, so I want to clean it up a little. All the blue lines are prices that I deemed quote unquote important prices, and these were put on here before we broke below that 55.76. So I might actually go back and try to find something in the 40s, to be honest. But just let's take a close look here. We had a really ugly day on the 31st. I'm not sure why. Usually I'm not big on news. Let's see if there was anything that might have been a catalyst. I don't think so. But what I have seen a lot happen, and this you call this conspiracy theory or something like that, is I see a lot of companies before earnings, they get sold off a lot, and then before you know it, boom, they go and shoot through the roof. Like it's almost like shaking out all the retail traders, and they're just shaking out everybody so they can get it at the cheapest price. And again, that sounds like conspiracy theory stuff because it doesn't always happen like that. But it just seems like it. Just watching enough charts, I've seen this happen. That is not a recommendation to buy this blindly, though. But I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't take much for this to move. But also, on the other side, is that closing below the 50, that's very bearish. But again, going to an earnings call, which I think is this Wednesday, uh, that's kind of all off the table at that point because if the market receives that information and positively, then we're just going to start climbing high anyway, and that kind of all goes out the window. So let's take a look at this. There's probably a few gaps here because this thing is a complete mess. Let's take a look here. This thing really broke support. I have to go back here. Close at 44.03, open. Nope, that one filled. Let's look at this one. Close at 46.24, open 46.61. So you have a tiny little gap there. So let's put 46.25 on the table. I feel like that would be a good area to look for. Unless we filled it already, no? 46.25. Let's see. Nope. Yeah, let's put that one on the table. There's just not that much room to the downside. I guess I have to go back pretty far to see if there's anything else. So let's just look at that for now. Let me look at a different chart. Let's look at a weekly chart and see where we're at. We're below every type of moving average you could think of on the weekly chart. We're gonna check the monthly chart next because we did just end January. So let's see what we're looking at monthly. This is interesting. 55 cent. Okay. So we have the 100-month moving average at 49.84. Oh, we closed below that too. Wow. We're going to take a look back further. Are there any more gaps? Nothing standing out right away. 40.15. I mean, maybe the low of this is 40.22, close 42.67. Nope. Here we go, 43.33, 43.75. That's a possibility. I'm gonna go back and do this one again later because we really want to know more about the downside. But that's another area. It's like the $43 area. Let's see. Let's go back even further on this. How far back does IRobot go? Probably 5 years. Let's see. Oh wow, much older than that. Didn't realize. Okay, 37. Let's see the high of this candle, 37. There's a reason I'm doing that. I like to see historic prices on these because stocks like to come back and test and retest former areas, former breakout areas and breakdown areas. Back to the chart. Let's say that there is positive news or positive reaction. 55.76 has been a pretty important number for this, so that could serve as resistance. Let's see how many times we've hit that. You can see why it's on this chart. 55.65, 55.56. I mean, this one's right around that area. 55.43 was the open. 55.63. I mean, look how close it is to that number. And it just keeps getting rejected underneath that number, so you can see the importance of it. So I bet, and I haven't looked at this in a while, if we go further back, you can see it probably broke down around that price. Probably lost support. Here we go. Right, this day right here, the low is 55.49. Look at that. This is cool. The close, 55.74. What's my number? 55.76. 2 pennies below the important number. What happened the next day? Got crushed and crushed again. And we haven't gotten back over that or closed back over that significantly at all. I don't maybe one day here. Barely. See, that tricked me. 55.88. Is that the only day? Yeah. Wow. So maybe I need to revise my number. Maybe it's like 55.90 or something. But so far, it looks like that's a pretty reliable area. So what was former support is now resistance. And you can go back and see these numbers, how they come up over and over. Look how important this one was. There's a lot of gaps. So that's the good news. If this does start to go up, you have that short float percentage, which is really high. So you have a lot of room to the upside. So if we break above 55.76, then 68.87 is the 200 period moving average. Maybe it stops up there. I mean, it could really fly. So there's just a lot of room for it to move with all the gaps, in my opinion. So I like to give more accurate numbers, and I'll probably tweet them. But for now, this is just a quick look at IRobot. And remember, be careful out there. Don't guess, don't gamble, and don't let the trade control you.